Uh, I'm 82 years old now, and I don't have many illusions left about myself. When you live this long, you stop pretending your life will somehow explain itself in the end. Some things just sit there, unfinished. This is one of them. I'm telling this because, I don't have many years ahead of me, and fewer people left who would listen. I'm not looking to be forgiven. I don't think that's how these things work. I just don't want the truth to disappear with me. Most days are quiet now. Too quiet. The house makes sounds I don't remember agreeing to live with. The refrigerator hums. The floor creaks even when no one is walking on it. I sit in the same chair most afternoons, not because it's comfortable, but because it's familiar. Familiar becomes important when everything else starts slipping. I think a lot about time, not in a dramatic way, just in small, irritating realizations, like how long it takes me to stand up, or how quickly a week goes by now, or how there are names I used to say every day that I haven't spoken in years. When people imagine regret, they picture something loud, a big mistake, a single terrible decision. For me, it wasn't like that. It was quieter. It was built out of habits, out of assumptions, out of believing that danger belonged to other people's lives. When I was younger, I was always in a hurry. Not because I had somewhere important to go, but because standing still made me uneasy. I worked long hours, not always because I had to, but because it felt like proof that I was doing something right. When I came home, my mind was already halfway back out the door. My wife noticed it long before I did. She used to tell me I moved through the house like I was visiting, not living there. I laughed it off. I thought she was exaggerating. I thought she worried too much in general. She was careful in ways I wasn't. She paid attention to details, doors, windows, where the kids were, who they talked to. I used to tease her about it, told her she was raising them to be afraid of the world. She'd look at me then, not angry, just tired, and say she wasn't afraid of the world. She was afraid of how quickly things could change. I didn't understand what she meant. Or maybe, I didn't want to. Our daughter was young then, curious, always watching. Our son was older by a few years, already starting to look outward instead of inward. The house felt full back then, even when it was messy or loud or tense. I didn't realize how fragile that fullness was. There was one evening that comes back to me more clearly than I want it to. It wasn't special. That's what makes it unbearable now. No celebration. No argument. Just an ordinary day that ended like any other, or so I thought. I was distracted, thinking about something small, a task I meant to finish. I stepped out of the house briefly. I don't even remember why anymore. I left the front door unlocked. I'd done it 100 times before. Nothing had ever happened. I didn't notice our daughter behind me. She had a habit of following. Always had. I didn't hear the door. I didn't hear her steps. I didn't feel anything wrong in the air. When I came back inside, the house felt different. That's the only way I can describe it. Too quiet, but not the peaceful kind. The kind that makes your body tense before your mind catches up. The door was open. I called her name once, then again, louder. I checked the rooms, the yard. I told myself she was hiding. Children hide. They like to surprise you. She wasn't hiding. What followed is hard to explain without it sounding dramatic. And it wasn't dramatic. It was frantic and clumsy and disorganized. Neighbors, voices, someone calling the police, someone holding my wife while she tried to breathe. Hours passed, then days, then weeks. The search became routine in a way that felt cruel. Posters, calls, sightings that went nowhere, each one raising hope just enough to hurt when it collapsed again. My wife changed during that time. Not suddenly, gradually. She stopped asking me questions, stopped looking at me when she spoke. We existed in the same space, but it felt like we were separated by something solid and invisible. She never shouted at me about that night. She never needed to. Everything she didn't say filled the house anyway. Our son grew up in the middle of it, old enough to understand what was missing, too young to know what to do with it. He took the loss and turned it into purpose. He remembered details no one else did. He followed leads. He kept folders. Even as an adult, he never fully stopped looking. I watched him spend years chasing fragments. I watched hope harden into obsession, and I knew, deep down, that he was carrying a weight that never should have been his. My wife left eventually, not in anger, just exhaustion. She said she couldn't breathe in that house anymore. She said she felt like every room accused her of staying. I didn't try to stop her. I wouldn't have known what to say. After that, time moved faster. That surprised me. I thought loss would slow everything down. Instead, years disappeared. Jobs ended. People drifted. The house got quieter. There was never a clear ending to the story of my daughter. No certainty, just absence. That's a particular kind of pain. It doesn't heal. It just settles. As I got older, I started remembering things I hadn't thought about in decades. Small moments, conversations I brushed aside, warnings I treated like inconveniences. My wife's voice came back to me often, not angry, just careful, asking me to slow down, to notice, to lock the door, to watch the children. I used to think love was big gestures, providing, showing up when it counted. I didn't realize how often it counts in quiet moments that don't feel important at the time. People like to say they'd do anything to go back and change one moment. I don't think that's true. I think we'd want to change the pattern, not the moment. Because the moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was built from how I lived. Now, at this age, I live surrounded by what didn't happen. My wife built a new life without me. My son still checks in, but there's a distance there that never closed. We talk around the past, never through it. There are questions I'll never have answers to. There are apologies that no longer have a place to land. I've had to learn how to live with that. I don't tell this story because I think it makes me wise. It doesn't. I tell it because I was ordinary, careless in ordinary ways, confident in ordinary assumptions. I assumed there would always be time to fix things, to be more careful later, to listen better next time. Later is a dangerous word. If you're listening to this, I don't know what your life looks like. I don't know what you're rushing toward or what you're stepping past without noticing. I only know that the moments that change everything rarely announce themselves. They look like routine, like nothing, like a door you don't bother to lock. I have a limited amount of time left now. I feel that in my bones. I've made peace with some things, not all. I don't think that's required. What I've learned is simple, but it took me too long to understand it. Attention is a form of care. Slowing down is not weakness. And the people who ask you to be careful are often the ones trying to keep something precious intact. My life wasn't ruined by one night. It was shaped by many days that felt unimportant. I'm not asking anyone to forgive me. I don't think forgiveness erases consequences. I just wanted to tell the truth while I still can, because carelessness doesn't announce itself. It looks like nothing, and that's how it takes everything. Carelessness is quiet, but its consequences are not.